sitting at the back end of our mats, I want you today to take your feet slightly wider apart than you normally would. And the reason for that is it gives you a more stable base, but also it creates a little bit of space around the sacrum, so that as we start doing any kind of forward movements around the pelvis and the lumbar spine, it should feel like you have more control over it, especially if your lower back is giving you any kind of grief. So feet are slightly wider, but big toes are still in line with each other. Just arms relaxed beside you. Lift your chin so that you're looking forward towards the horizon. And you're going to inhale to shrug your shoulders. Lift them up. Exhale as you glide the shoulders down, and then just turn your head slowly from one side, and then turn your head slowly to the other side, and then bring your head back to center. Do that again. Inhale, lift your shoulders, feel how your ribs expand, and exhale, glide down, and again, turn to look over one shoulder, turn to look over the other shoulder, and then bring your head back to the center and take a moment to close your eyes. And I just want you to stand there for a moment. I can see somebody has asked a question on the chat, so I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat. Great. So if you're having a problem with the bandwidth, maybe turn your cameras off and it'll be easier for everyone to see. Fantastic. All right, so still with eyes closed, you're going to just start to feel your body in space. This is called proprioception, knowing where you are in space. And starting from the soles of our feet, maybe pick up your toes and wiggle them around, and then place your toes onto the floor. Maybe just rock a little bit on your feet, forwards, backwards, sideways. Maybe roll your feet in and out. And then just center yourself. Your feet are acting as your foundation here, so that you can start to stack ankles, knees, hips, pelvis, spine. Create a little bit of space between each vertebra. Let your head wobble on top of your spine. Become aware of your collarbones and your shoulder blades. Notice where your shoulder joint is sitting in space. Elbows, wrists, and hands. Take a moment and let your eyes melt backwards into your head. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and sigh. And then blink your eyes open gently. Soften your knees just a little bit. Taking a breath in. Exhale as you start looking down towards the floor. And we're just going to come forward to round the upper back. So it's not very far that you've gone. Your hands are kind of hanging above your knees. Stay here for a moment. And then gently start moving one hand towards the floor and then the other. So it's almost like you're shaking out your ribs. It's gentle though. And can you start to bring your awareness internally? Can you visualize how maybe you're giving your lungs and your heart just a little massage? And then let yourself center. Take another breath in. Exhale. Start rolling all the way forward. Remember that you can adjust your body position at any point if your lower back is giving you grief. And then just take it down until you feel that you can stay in a comfortable stretch here. And then once again, just adjust your body weight on your feet, relaxing into the back of the neck. Take a breath in, and this time, bend your knees and start to walk yourself forward, down onto your hands, and onto your knees. Relax your feet out. Set yourself up. And then we go into a gentle cat stretch, rounding your spine up towards the sky. Stay here for a moment in a rounded spine. And this time, just come back to a neutral position. So we're not going to arch the spine quite yet. We're just going into neutral. And again, tucking the tailbone under, and just feel that wonderful stretch into the lower back. Push out of your hands, feel the stretch between the shoulder blades and tuck the chin in. And then lengthen out the spine and come towards a neutral position right here. We're going to do that one more time. And we go. Tuck the tail under, start rounding through the spine. And this time, tuck your toes under. And we're going to push back up into a downward facing dog position. So bend the knees, allow your back to either be straight or a little bit rounded, depending on how you're feeling this morning. And then let's stretch out the calf muscles a little bit. So we push one heel towards the floor and then the other. And then pushing both heels gently down. Bend your knees a little bit and start walking your feet towards your hands. At any given point, you can go up onto your fingertips, but bring yourself into a space where your feet are wide, your big toes are in line, your heels are down, and you can hang here. Take a breath in, and then exhale. Back up you come, using abdominals, rooting into the feet, and just allowing yourself to come all the way up into standing. Bend your knees a little bit. Take your right hand, reach it out to the side, bring the arm up. Now instead of leaning to the side, reach up to touch the sky and then do a little stretch over and come back to the center. Do that again, same side. And to lift up and then over and a little release. We're going to do 3 more. It's a lift up and over. So you can see that I'm not doing a huge stretch today. And reach. Beautiful. One more time. Soft release work. And release and bring that arm all the way down. And this time, your left arm reaches. Bring it up. And this time go up and then a tiny stretch over and release. Connect your breath to your movement so that it feels good for you. And just notice how the quality of your breath affects your movement. If you do a sharp exhale, it's going to be quite a strong pull. If you do a long, slow exhale, it's almost like pulling toffee. And release, bring that left arm all the way down and stay where you are. Take a breath in, exhale, nod your chin, and once again, we just roll down until your upper back, your thoracic spine is rounded, and we stay here for a moment, and let's do that little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle of the spine. So our rib cage attaches to our thoracic vertebra. So when we're standing upright, we have a little bit of restricted movement, but when we round like this, all of a sudden it opens up the space for us to be able to move a little bit more. And then just let yourself center. Take another breath in. Exhale, coming all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And this time, bend your knees enough that you can put your fingertips to the ground. We're going to bend the knees. And on the next breath, start lifting your hips up and straighten them just as much as your flexibility lets you go this morning. And again, bending the knees. And exhale. The important thing is to keep your hands connected to the floor so that you have support. We're just going to take 2 more. Pay attention to how your body is feeling. How is it reacting? And now bend your knees enough that you can put your hands flat to the ground. And this time, start walking your feet back until you can lower your knees to the ground. Set yourself up on all fours. And now we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper cat stretch. Start rounding your spine. So you're tucking tailbone, lifting the belly button, pushing away from your hands. And now you have a choice. You can either come back to neutral, or you can come into that full extension that we've been doing. You lift your tail, lift your arm. And again, tuck your tail. Now you don't have to move at the same pace that I am. This is the pace that works for me with my flexibility and with my breathing. You can go slower or you can go faster. And you can go into a bigger movement or you can go into a smaller movement. And we're going to do just one more time, curling the tailbone under. Stay here, tuck your toes, and then press yourself back into your inverted V, your downward facing dog. And then once again, make any adjustments you need to your hand and foot position. Let's pedal the heel so that we're getting a little bit of a release up the back line of the body. And then pushing both heels down. Soften your knees a little bit. And then walk your hands backwards towards your feet. Go onto the tips of your fingers when you need. And then hang there. Just surrender into this position for a moment. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Take a breath in. And then start unraveling your spine. Now you really got to use the abdominals to support you here. You need to root into the heels of the feet so that you can feel how the back line of your body starts to support you as you come all the way up and tall. We're just going to take a nice deep breath in, reaching both arms all the way up. Connect your fingers or your hands, and then exhale and open the arms nice and wide. Now we're going to do a little bit of a neck stretch. We're going to inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And on your breath, bring your arms down and hook your right elbow under the left elbow. It doesn't matter if you switch it because we are going to do both sides. Bend your knees a little bit, create some freedom in the lower back. And then you can either start to push the backs of the hands to each other, or if you're super duper flexible, you might be able to hook your hands around. And we're just going to stay here. Chin gently, gently pulled in towards your voice box. And you can breathe here, or you can do a little side-to-side movement with your neck. And I'm talking about a tiny little movement side to side. Keep breathing. And then bring your head to center. Release the bind of your hands, release your elbows, and we breathe in. And just notice how easy that is. And then bringing the arms down, this time you're going to put your left elbow under the right, or switch it around if you did the other way. Then feel it out. Where can you take your hands to on this side? This side might feel very different from the first side. Find the bind or the hand position that works for you. Chin in towards your voice box just a little bit. And if you want to, you can do that little tipping of the head from side to side. Very, very gentle. Keep breathing. And bring your head to the center. Release your hands. Release your bind. Inhale. Just let your arms float up. That should feel so easy. And then exhale and release the arms all the way down. Stay where you are. Take a breath in. Exhale, look down. And we start to curve the upper back. So your thoracic spine is releasing and we stay. Let's do that little Massaging all those internal organs, releasing into the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles, and then let your arms hang. Take one more breath in. Exhale, down you go. Find the position for your back and your hips that works for you. And then again, bending your knees, walk yourself down onto all fours, sitting up, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips, and now we're going to add on a little bit again to our cat stretch. Start rounding your spine up towards the sky, and we're going to stay here for a moment in a cat stretch, and then we're going to push back just halfway. So you're really keeping quite a strong curve in the lower back. Just feel if that's okay for you today, and then come forward. And then lengthen your spine either to neutral or start moving towards extension. And again, rounding the spine. Feel the lift of your belly and actively pushing into your hands. Move your hips back just to a place where you can feel the release across the lumbar spine and the sacrum. Lots of connective tissue there. And then come forward. And then lengthen your tail, reach your tail up, lift your heart, lift your eye line. Let's take one more time, rounding through the spine, feeling the belly button lift, and then start pressing back just into that little release in the lower spine. Come forward, and this time just come back to a neutral position and holding it here. Now, nothing's going to lift. You're going to keep your hands on the floor. You're going to keep your shins on the floor. Start to push your right hand down to the ground at the same time that you push your left shin to the floor, but you're not letting anything wiggle or move. And then switch, so you start pushing left hand into the floor and right shin. So it's a cross pattern movement with nothing moving. And we push. Right hand, left shin, and we push left hand, right shin. Now keep going. You can start very slowly and you can keep it at this pace, or you might want to start picking up the pace for yourself. But the trick is to maintain the level of your pelvis, the level of your shoulders, and the connection to your center. And anybody who is watching us on the outside would think we're doing absolutely nothing, right? But you can feel it. You can feel it in your deep center. Last two. Last one. And come back to the center. Take a moment to pivot your hands around so that your fingers are pointing either towards you, or if your wrists and elbows and shoulders don't want to go there, then just take them around to the side so that you feel a stretch. If you're here comfortably, you can start to press your hips back gently and a little release. Just finding your range. So this can be quite a strong release around the front of the wrist, and this is called the carpal tunnel. So especially for a lot of people that spend a lot of time on computers or typing, this is a really good release. Anybody who does a lot of cycling, paddling. Let's just take one more. And release, hold it here. Turn your hand all the way back around to the front, and then stay here for a moment. Slide your right leg back and keeping your toes on the floor. Walk your left fingertips forward and keep your fingertips on the floor. I want you to stabilize, and when you're ready, pick up the arm and the leg, and then place them down again. Pick up the arm and leg, and place them down. Find the connection from the opposite finger to the opposite toe, and that's on both hands. The arm and leg that are moving and the arm and the leg that are stabilizing you. And on this last one, pick up and hold it there for a moment. Now you can stay here in balance, or move your left arm a little to the left and your right leg a little to the right. Not much, just to challenge your balance. And then bring them back into alignment. And again, move them a little bit to their respective sides. And back in. One more time, just a gentle movement. Come back in, hold it, and then bring the hand and the knee. Set yourself up again. Make any adjustments you need for your wrists and put padding under your knees if you need. Left leg stretches back. Keep your tippy toe on the floor. Walk the right fingertips forward and pause for a moment. On your breath, arm and leg lift together. And release it down. And again, lift. So again, this range does not have to be big. If your back feels like it's been taking strain in the last few days, rather do a tiny lift so it's more focused on your abdominals. If you lift the leg and the arm up high, stay here, you might feel the back taking over. Now you've got an option. You can challenge yourself by taking the right arm to the right and the left leg to the left. And back in. Beautiful. Nice balance, guys. And we're going to do just one more time. Come back in, hold it, and then bring the arm and the leg all the way in. Balance on your right hand. Reach the left hand to the side. And coming into a thread the needle. So remember, support yourself under your head or your shoulder if you need. And I would recommend, if you've been feeling any strain in your back, that you either stay here or you slide the right hand forward. Because by extending that right arm forward, you're getting a little bit of a stretch onto those back muscles called the latissimus dorsi. So make the choice that feels good for you. And then we stay here for just a few breaths in and out. And then slide the right hand back in. Press yourself up, reaching the left arm to the side and bringing your hand back in. Settle on your left hand, the right hand reaches. Coming into a thread the needle. Placing shoulder, placing head. Settle into position here. And then on this side again, either keep the left hand where it is or slide it forward so you get a little bit more of a stretch into the lats. And if your lower back is giving you any grief, figure out what you need to do so that it feels okay for you. Maybe you need to tighten up your abs, maybe you need to tuck the pelvis, maybe you need to move it side to side. And then bring your left hand onto the floor. Press all the way up as you reach the hand to the side and bringing the right hand back in. Just tuck your toes underneath you for a moment. Achilles tendons pointing straight up. And then on your breath, just lift your knees a little bit off the ground. So we're going to come into a little bit of stabilizing work here. So we're working the muscles around every major joint of the body here. Bring awareness to the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the ankles, the knees, the hips, and very importantly to everything that is around your spine. And on your next breath, allow the knees to release down, relax the feet out, and let's come back into our first resting position of today's class. So settle your pelvis, get your knees happy, walk your head down, and again, if your head doesn't reach the floor, make sure that you're supporting yourself somehow, either with your own hands or with a pillow. And then just allow the elbows to bend so that you can comfortably relax your arms to ground. And we're just staying here for 5 breaths in and out. And we don't have to focus on stretching anything. We just have to focus on how our breathing creates space for ourselves, physically and mentally. Taking one more breath in and out. And then take your time as you walk your hands towards your knees. And then actually just roll yourself slowly up through your spine so that you're lifting nice and tall. If this doesn't feel good for your knees, then we're going to be moving in a second anyway. So I'm going to do a mirror image of you. Move your hips over to your right. So you're sitting on your right bum, and your feet are going to come out towards the left. And you're just going to hold on to that left ankle. And then taking your right hand, that's it. And yeah, so just hold on to the outside foot so that you feel that you can balance. Reaching that right hand all the way up. Turn your head to look down towards the floor on the opposite side. And on your breath, start lifting up and then over and release yourself back again. It's a soft movement today. And breathe out. So keep it going. I'm just turning my head to face towards the camera, but you can keep looking down if you want. This is now working on that whole lateral line of the body. And with the shape that we've taken the legs into, it's starting to bring in a little bit of spiral line work as well. So you might actually feel that there's a stronger stretch or release down the side of the body into the lower back or maybe into the hip. So don't force it. Just allow this gentle rhythmic movement to guide you of how far you can go. It's not a pull, it's a lifting and a softening. One more time. And release. Bringing that right arm down, place it to the floor and actually just let yourself lean away a little bit. So take your left hand now and put it underneath your armpit here. So you're going to feel your rib cage. And you're just going to let your shoulder shrug to your ear. And then you're going to push away from your hand. And can you feel something happening on those muscles underneath the ribs? And letting your shoulder release. Don't drop into it. Control it, okay? And press, so we don't want to create any issues around that shoulder. And again, soft release. This is called eccentric control. And when you push away from your hand, you're working concentrically. We're going to do just one more time, connecting into latissimus dorsi, connecting into serratus anterior, and then you hold it here. Take your top arm, reach it up, palm up, and now open up the chest, open up the front arm line, and then breathe out as you round your spine, and just bring your left hand towards the right hand. And again, we breathe in. So I think most of you know this release that I incorporate into a lot of classes. And we're working on opening the front arm line as we take the hand back. And we're working on opening the back arm line as we bring the hand down. But we're also allowing a rotation of the spine. And you can feel that your ribs have to move with you here. And depending again on where you're tight, you might feel quite a strong release around the upper back, the lower back, or maybe even the hips. So don't force it. Just notice what's happening with you. Come all the way back up, hold it, and releasing the arm down. Now, if you can, just move Your hands a little bit behind you so that you can sit back. Bring your feet all the way up into a little ball shape. And then move your hands to the front of your shins and close your eyes or allow your eyes to soften. Bring your awareness to your breathing. Bring your awareness to that soft rocking of your body as you connect to your breath. And notice how your body will naturally recalibrate itself as you move here. It adjusts constantly to keep balance. Opening your eyes, placing your hands behind you again. Just swing your feet over to your right side now. So now you're going to be sitting on your left hip. Make any adjustments that you need. If it doesn't feel good on your hips, hold onto the outside leg. Maybe you need a pillow under your bum. And now you're going to reach that left arm all the way up. Turn your head to look down, so you're releasing these neck muscles. And then we lift up and over. And we inhale to release. And again. Just move as far as your body allows on this side. And again, give yourself an opportunity to really observe yourself. How does this side feel in comparison to the first side? Just tuning into yourself for a moment. Taking just 2 more. 1 more. And come all the way up. Reach down so that you can put your left hand to the floor. You're going to lean away from yourself a little bit. And now take your free hand, put it underneath your armpit onto your rib cage, and then let your shoulder hunch up towards your ear, and then push away from your hand and feel the muscles engage. And again, release and press. So it's a controlled movement, and what you might notice with the connection of these muscles here is that they're tied in to what your shoulder joints and your scapula are doing. So your scapula is, in fact, right now gliding up and down your back and moving a little bit towards the spine and away from the spine. Now hold it there. Take your top arm, reach it up with your palm up. Start taking your arm backwards, breathing in, and then bring your hand down towards the floor. So now you're bringing your right hand towards your left hand. And we go, breathing in. So remember, we're never forcing the movement. What you're going to notice probably is that with each repetition that you do, and with each full inhale and full exhale, that your movement's going to expand anyway. We don't have to force anything on our bodies. One more time, breathe in, breathe out, come all the way back up, and release. Now we're not going to balance this time. We're going to flip onto our bum cheeks, and you're going to come and sit with your toes near the front of your mat. That's it. And holding on to the front of your, bring your tail under. And just decide how far back you can go. If you can do the full range, it basically means that your elbows will be straight and you're hanging off your knees here. There's no work happening except in your arms. And then you're going to bend your elbows and pull yourself forward until you can lift yourself nice and tall. And then again, curl the tail under and decide how far your back wants to go today. Maybe you're hanging on the knees, maybe not. And then pull with the arms, coming all the way up. We're going to do just one more time, curling the tail under, finding your range. Take a breath in. Can you relax your neck? And then bend your elbows as you pull up and lift and tall. Now stay here. Bring your arms out in front of you. And on your breath, in one smooth movement, take yourself back. At any point, if you need to hold onto your legs, you give yourself assistance and release all the way back. Place your hands to the floor. Bring your feet a little closer to your bum, or wiggle your bum a little closer to your feet. We're going to have the knees and feet separated hip distance, and then pivot your heels together to touch, so you're making a V position with the feet, not too wide. Make sure you can get all 10 toes on the floor, and your knees are in a diamond shape. We're going to do our pelvic curl from here today. Settle your spine, relax your neck, and then when you're ready, show me that little tilt of the hips first, so you're peeling up through your spine, and as you come up into your bridge position, we want to really feel that the gluteus maximus is doing its job. Stay for a moment, take a breath in, and then ripple down through the spine, finding that imprint into the lower back, and then releasing the pelvis at the bottom. Take a breath, and again, small tilt of the hips. And as you come up into your bridge position, you're gluing the heels together. There's external rotation at the top of the thigh bone. That's what's making the bum work. And then come down. Can you soften from the throat, across the chest, through the belly, and then the pelvis settles at the bottom. We're going to take two more. Tilting hips, rolling up into your bridge position. Such a wonderful release at the top of the thighs. And come down through the spine. And very consciously place vertebra to that. Let's take one more time, tilting hips. And remember, if you're taking any strain in your back at any point, just don't come up so high. Take it up just until you feel the bum. You don't have to push up too high. Stay for a moment, breathing in. And then start to ripple down through the spine. Imprint and release. Separate your heels so that now you're back to a parallel position. Bring your hands up towards the sky. Turn arms to face each other. And we're just going to do some arms open and close. So you inhale to expand. Don't let them rest. Exhale, bring the arms up again, just shoulder width. And again, inhale. Exhale. Two more times. Just notice if you're carrying tension anywhere, if you're getting any kind of stretch down the arms. Notice what's happening with your neck and your upper back. And bring the arms all the way up. Now, bring your hands together so that the palms of the hands are touching each other. Elbows stay straight. Start reaching one hand up towards the ceiling, letting the shoulder come up and the upper back round, and then switch. So now you slide the other hand up and let the upper back curve. Keep it going. This is exactly the same rotation of the thoracic spine that we did in our warm-up when we were doing our roll down. It's just that now you have the floor underneath your back to actually feel it. Now keep the movement going, but make it smaller so that just the tips of your fingers are sliding past each other. Just the tips. keeping the elbows straight, and now making it so small, and maybe you even want to close your eyes here because it gives you a little bit more sense of what's happening internally. Make it so small that I can hardly see your hands moving, but you can feel that soft, subtle release around the thoracic spine and the rib attachments to the spine. And then come to a standstill. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Bring your hands shoulder width, stay for a moment. Now let's repeat, arms open and close. Breathing in and breathing out. 3 more, and I want you to notice if it feels different for you or not. Has there been any release from that rolling action? One more time. Give yourself almost constrict. Maybe you need to wiggle your spine out to create some space. And now keep your head resting and actually bring the elbows forward as if you're going to try and touch the elbows to each other. So you're cradling your head. I want you to nod your chin, and as you breathe out, let your arms pull your head forward, pull your shoulders forward. So the focus here is not abdominal work, it's a stretch of your back, and then release down, and you're going to keep those elbows nice and close. We're going to do 2 more. Breathing out as you curl forward and releasing back. Make sure that it feels like a good stretch, yeah? One more time. And let your head rest and open your elbows so you can just see them in the corner of your eye. No more pulling on your head. You're going to nod your chin. Breathe out as now your abdominals pull you forward, but you have facilitated your back releasing, and let yourself ease back. Breathe out as you curl forward and releasing back. Taking 3 more. Breathe out and release. 2 more. And release. Just 1 more time. Curl forward, and if you can, stay here. If your body gets tired, go down. You're going to tilt your pubic bone towards your nose. Feel the imprint of your back, and then release your pelvis. Do that again. Breathe out. Can you feel the abdominals connect? And release. Don't let your bum take over. Breathe out, zip, and release. Let's try 1 more time, everyone. Breathe out, zip, and release. Lower head and shoulders all the way back down, and let your elbows push to the side. Just give yourself a little bit of a stretch there for a moment, and then releasing all the way towards the front. So bring your hands into a low V position. Walk your feet nice and wide so they're on the edges of your mat. And then start with quite a small rocking of the knees to the sides. So both knees are going in the same direction. And again, depending on how your pelvis or your lower back is feeling, or sometimes even your upper back, because the latissimus dorsi muscle actually attaches right down towards the pelvis. You might feel that you can keep it quite small today, or you might feel that you can go quite far to the side. Make sure the whole time that you have some gentle support through the lower abdominals. And we're just going to take a few more to each side. So take your time, figure out the movement for yourself today. And then bring yourself back to the center. Bring chest, bring the other knee in to join it. Just gently rocking knees from side to side. And we're going to do a slightly different back extension today. You're now going to put your feet onto the mat, and you're going to have your feet a little bit wider than your own pelvis. So normally when we do pelvic curl, they're in parallel, a little bit wider, and maybe if it feels okay for you, you can bring them a little bit closer towards your bum as well. So whatever feels good for you. Arms down. Start by tilting your hips and coming up into a pelvic curl, into a shoulder bridge position, and then just stay there for a moment. So what you should be feeling right now is that your gluteals are working and the top of your hips are opening, but you still have a little bit of an abdomination. So now we're going to go into a back extension from here. So anchor your arms to the floor and start squeezing your bum a little bit more so you push your pelvis up higher. And can you notice immediately that you start engaging the lumbar extensors? And then let your pelvis come down to neutral. Give yourself a little bit of a break. And maybe you need to come down a little bit more to stretch it if your back needs. And then start pressing your hips up again and feel how the workload moves from the bum into the lower back. And then releasing just down to neutral. Let's do that one more time. And pressing the pelvis up. You've got to really anchor your feet into the ground. And then release your pelvis to neutral. And let's come all the way down. And this is an opportunity to give the lower back a release and coming all the way down. So hopefully everybody felt okay with that. If it doesn't feel good, then keep your range small. You don't have to come all the way up. We're going to add on now. So take another breath. And then we go, little tilt of the hips. Come up into your regular Pilates pelvic curl. So you feel the gluteals, you feel the abdominals. Now start pressing your hips up higher. There's the lower back extensors. Now keep your head looking up towards the sky and start pushing your heart towards your chin. And as you lift your chest up, can you feel now that your upper back muscles start to work? Use your arms on the floor. Release your chest so your heart comes away from your chin, and release your pelvis just back to neutral. You're back in your bridge. And again, press your hips up. Press your chest up. You're coming into a beautiful extension of the spine. And then release the chest and release the pelvis. Make sure there's nothing under your head, by the way. No support under your head. And we go. Press the hips up. Press the chest up. Find your full back extension. And then release the chest, release the pelvis, and let it come all the way down. Work your way through the lumbar extensors and allow yourself to settle. Good. Bring your knees in towards your chest. So those of you that have done yoga before, you probably recognize that that's a bridge position in yoga. So there's a lot of work in the back muscles there. So it's a nice alternative as opposed to us always doing our back extension lying on the floor. Bring your legs a little bit away from you and hook your hands behind your thighs. We're going to do a half roll up, half rolling like a ball. You guys have done this before. Bring your thighs away from you so your elbows are straight. Curl your head and shoulders forward so you round your upper back. Start pouring your body weight in towards your feet. So you actually need to actively push into your hands to tip your body forward. That's it. Your feet are going to touch, and I highly recommend breathing. And then feet down, and you're going to bring your head towards your knees. And then start rolling yourself back. So we're going to do the same thing we did in our warm-up, where you're hanging off your arms. And then let your feet lift slightly, and then pour your body weight ever so gently and with control all the way back. Beautiful. Relax back and hug your knees in. Let's do that 2 more times. And we go. Reach forward, lift head and shoulders. Exhale as we pour body weight forward. And rounding over. And roll back. Gentle release. Lifting the feet. And back you go. One more time, and bringing the legs away, curling head and shoulders, and with control, letting your feet pull you towards the ground, and come forward, and then lengthen and sit up tall. But you might want to come back a little bit so that your feet are on a padded surface. And you're going to cross your right ankle over the left knee so that the knee drops open, and then sit back as if you're on the beach. So your hands are going to be behind you. You can take them wide apart if you need to. And then start bending the left knee so you can put your left foot onto the ground. Now, you might get a stretch there already. We're getting a stretch into that right hip. Or you can start moving your foot back a little bit. Woo! Feel that today? And then for those of you that are really flexible, you might even be able to bring your hands in and push up a little higher. I'm afraid my hips don't cooperate with that. And then you can almost do a little rocking the baby movement. That helps to release around the hips. And just say to yourself, slide the left leg out, and then uncross, and maybe give your knees a little bit of a shake right there. And then you're going to take your leg above the knee so the knee can roll open. Lean back so you're sitting on the beach, and then bringing that foot back. And you might notice on this side that you're in quite a different position or a different shape to get the stretch into that hip. And then if you need to, you do a little bit of a rocking action of the hips to help release. See how many times. Gentle, gentle movements. And then sliding the leg forward, and then stretch and giving your legs just a little bit of a shake. Good. So now, in the seated position, you can pull the flesh of your bum out. Separate your legs just to hip distance and pull the toes up. Now listen, you can bend your knees if you need to, no big deal, depending on your hamstring length. And then you're going to put your hands in line with your femur, the top of the hip bone here. And put your fingers pointing forward, spreading them out nice and wide. If your wrists hurt, put a little pad underneath the hands if you need to, like sitting on a towel. You're going to sit up nice and tall, so you're pushing out of your hands, you're pushing out through the heels of your feet, and then we are going to round the spine, but I want you to see if you can keep your elbows straight and almost push your bum off the floor, and then lengthen your spine and sit up tall. If you need to give your hands a little release, you can. So you're going from a straight spine to a curved spine, and because I've got my elbows straight and with a curved spine, it gives me the opportunity to lift my bum, because if I kept my elbows bent, I wouldn't go anywhere, right? And lengthen the spine, releasing all the way out. There are lots of people that say that. So sitting up nice and tall. And guys, I have to admit, if you've got like really long legs and long arms, this is going to be super easy for you. If you've got the opposite with shorter legs and shorter arms, it's a challenge, but you want to work those abdominals. Let's do one more time. And we go. Good, Jules. And curve the spine. Push, 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 push. And then lengthen the spine and release. And let's give those wrists a little bit of a shake. Nicely done. Swinging both your feet around to the side. You're going to come onto all fours. And just stay here for a moment. And you're going to just stretch one leg back. Stretch the other leg back. Pause for a moment in plank position. Let your knees come to the ground. Release the feet out. Round your spine. You guys know the fascial cat. And we're going to press back. We're just going to stay here for 5 gentle releases. Never forcing, allowing your breath to guide you. And then come forward, just onto all fours, and then come forward enough that you've got your shoulders just above your wrists. Don't go any further than that. Lengthen your spine, nice neutral spine, and now we just push backwards and forwards with a straight spine. So now what you're going to be feeling is a connection into the upper body as you push back. Those are your lat muscles. And then as you come forward, you're going to feel a little connection into your center. Now bring your body forward with a flat spine. Tuck your toes under. And now when you straighten your legs, you should automatically be back in your plank position. Hold it there. Because we didn't move our hands and we didn't move our feet. Let your knees come down. Release the toes. Round your spine. Fascial cat. Let's do 5 gentle pulses back. Pay attention to what your body needs. Start coming forward. Coming forward until you've got your shoulders above your wrists. And then lengthen your spine and make a flat back. And again, transfer your body weight backwards and forwards. With a flat spine, engaging upper body, engaging center. One more time. Come forward, tuck your toes under, and when you lift up your knees and straighten your legs, you should automatically be back in your plank position. Now lift your hips up, bend your knees, bring your feet a little closer if you need, and let's once again just pedal up the heels. Push both heels towards the ground. Soften your knees and walk your feet all the way forward towards your hands. Come onto the tips of your fingers when you need. Take your feet a little bit wider than we normally would and relax over. Shake your head gently. Nod your head. You can have your knees bent or straight as we unravel, coming all the way up into standing. Remember, abdominals are going to help you. The back line of your body is going to support you as you come up. And we inhale to lift the shoulders. Exhale, glide them down. Look over one shoulder. Look over the other shoulder. Bring your head to center. And take a moment to close your eyes. And as you stand there, noticing the shape of your body, noticing your joints, feeling your muscles, your connective tissue, and your skin. Noticing your internal organs settling into place. Feeling the expansion and then the emptying of your lungs. Take a deep breath in, open your mouth and sigh. Blink your eyes open, bring yourself back into space, and then just give your wrists a little shake, give your ankles and feet a little shake. Fantastic. Are you good?
Yes.
Awesome. So we get a little bit more focus on that release work. So hopefully it feels good for everybody's backs. Hey? Pleasure. Let me just turn on the sound here.